We are live. This is the Fort Valley Boys podcast. I am your host and moderator, Fabian Bixon. On this hot Sunday night show, we are discussing national championship game. What's next for college basketball for women? We're going to try to preview the men's game with my guys, and we're also going to talk about Bronny James going to the league. My guys will be on in a minute, and of course, this is the part of the show. We might say, "Let's go." So we're gonna say, "Let's go." While I'm changing my background, I just kill some time right now. Just kill some time. Trying to wait my guys get on, but this part of the show, I said, "Let's go."
Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, boys, yeah. Hold on, we them boys. Hold on, we them boys.
And this is the Four Valley Boys show. We have a lot of sponsors, so we're gonna give them to you. We're gonna give you the sponsors. We're gonna give the people what they want. Of course, we're on Sundays and Wednesdays. This, of course, we had the national championship game. We're gonna go into depth with that, and hopefully some other folks will be on here beside me. So y'all need to show up, guys. Crazy straws. If you crazy, you got a straw. Get crazy straws. Just for men, if you got some gray in your beard, just go ahead and get that. Just for men on aisle 3 in Walmart. They'll get you right. Me, not get rid of my gray because I'm already old. No need for me to get rid of it. So just for men. Dax Wave and Groom, Michael Atwater. I've known him since 1995 when he had hair. He had waves. It's 2024. He is bald headed and still has waves. So there you go. Just for men works. So get some Dax Wave and Groom if you want some waves. Um, Arizona tea. If you buy Arizona tea, it's 89 cents. But the only drawback from getting Arizona tea, you will be on metformin and Ozempic at the same time. So if you get it, just know the consequences of getting metformin. Getting on Arizona tea, 89 cents, not 89 cents in Florida, 99 cents in Georgia. You're just gonna be on a diabetic shock, and you might have to get something amputated in 36 to 48 hours. Just keep in mind of that. Of course, you can follow the Fort Valley Boys on Facebook at the Fort Valley Boys podcast page. You can follow us on YouTube at the Fort Valley Boys. Please tell your friends about it. BuyANightShirt.com. Bernard Ingram has some great merchandise. If you're a Divine Nine or if you're part of a HBCU family, Bernard Ingram, send me and shot some stuff. We're great alone. We know you're from Fort Valley. Send me and shot some stuff. We want some of the coats you got. We got some nice coats out there. Got the patches on there if you were in a band or play sports. So you can put patches on there. So hook us up. Hook us up. Bernard. I'm gonna tag you right now. So you can watch, so you can give us some stuff. Try not to cuss on the show today. Try not to cuss on the show today. Bernard Ingram. Let's do that now. Ingram. There you go. Go ahead and tag you. There you go. Damon's podcast, chopping it up. He has a Patreon page. Look him up. Get some hook a boy up. And of course, Men Shot's favorite sponsor, Hennessy and Coke, Crown Royal, XO and Ginger Ale, the Dark Liquors. The Dark Liquors. What it do, Shot?
What's going on, Fabe?
Shit. Man, let's jump right into it, man. National championship game.
Woo.
Let's look at it like this. South Carolina is 74-1 over the last 2 years. 74-1. If it wasn't for them going 4 for 20 from threes last year, they'd be back-to-back champions with 2 undefeated seasons. I think they ought to beat LSU because they beat LSU last year in the regular season. This year's game, Caitlin Clark went Scion on them with 18 points in the first quarter, but They shut her down 5 for 20 the last 3 quarters. Made the adjustment. Shut them down. Beat them by 12. What's your take on the game?
I'll go back. I'm not so sure if they lose to our last year that they win this game this year. I just came to that conclusion when I was listening to the post game and I heard Pow Pow say that she watched the game and said, "Oh, they could use me." After they lost the game. And so I don't know if she's at South Carolina next year. It may have been easy for her to go to LSU. It had LSU not won the national title. And of course, all of those five people were still going to leave. So I think Don Staley's team may have been a different five, but may not have been that five. Cordova didn't play there last year. No, last year she was on the bench.
She was coming off the bench last year because
Right.
Aaliyah Boston was starting.
Right. It was. Yeah. Like, I mean, just, sometimes it's just not your time. Like, look how deep that team is. You got Aaliyah Boston, who at the time was player of the year. Caitlin Clark ended up winning it that year. I think she may have been the number one pick in the draft. Ended up being the rookie of the year. So Cordova had to wait her turn, and they don't do that no more in the men's, and that's why Dawn can win multiple championships, and I'm sure she'll be the favorite next year because she put on a recruiting clinic today at the post game. You know, I'm a recruiting guy. Atwater will tell you I follow recruiting all the time, and the ins and out, and everything she said to me resonated with parents. And I was like, man, look at Dawn. She's putting on a recruiting clinic right now. She got people crying. She talking about what a God she served. She bigging up Aaliyah Boston. And then let's talk about the leader she is. The first thing she did was she gave props to the assistant coach for his scouting. That's leadership. You know what I'm saying? And so I think they'll be back. Now, as far as the game, um, I felt like the game was that I put it in the officials chat with the people that I'm cool with, and I said this is probably the best officiated game I've ever watched. And then pre production, Coach Jamon, championship Coach Jamon, was asking some real good questions as far as a lot of people was calling in asking me about the calls that were made in the first half, the two touch call. They felt like South Carolina was getting holes a little bit, and it's just different when you're looking at it through the eyes of an official. It's just totally different. Because I'm a fan today, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, that's a good call. Oh, I can't believe she called a charge. That's a good charge. Like, so I as a fan, you'll just never see it. You'll just never get it. But one of the things I said in the chat that I told championship coach was them calling that early allowed South Carolina to adjust. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you got to adjust to the way this game is being officiated. And that, because they're so deep, because they're so good, they impose their will after that.
One thing we talked about, we'll probably get into it in just a minute. It was a little bit uneven, but I looked at this game as you remember how Shaq was being officiated in some parts of LeBron after their championship win when they got Durant, you could see it. Playing through contact might not get a call, but all along the second half, I think it evened out for the most part. I think it evened out because I noticed Iowa got a lot of calls against them, far as in the fourth quarter. Because I was thinking like, oh, here they go with some of these calls. But looking back at some of the calls were fair calls, but there was a couple that were a little shaky. But be like you said, I had to agree with you. That was a fairly called game. But the way South Carolina kept pushing the gap forward against Iowa when they tried to make they push. Iowa, South Carolina kept coming down the court making shots, and that's the one thing they couldn't do last year. That's what killed them. They had absolutely no shooting last year. Their best
None.
was the offensive rebound. That was their best play last year. And you had Tia Thompson, you had Johnson, you had Chloe Kitts, you had Pow Pow. At the first half, she was 3 for 3. And one big play was when Johnson made the steal on Clark at the end of the half that pushed the lead to 3. That was a momentum buster for them because I think Clark would have got a 3 off if she would have turned the ball over right there.
So, just from the officiating, like, again, from the people that I spoke to, we all graded this crew um, as a 95% or better. Obviously, it's some little stuff that you will probably miss, but one of the things that me and Jamon, championship coach Jamon, was talking about was yeah, that advantage disadvantage. Carolina can take a lot of the bumps that Iowa can. Like you saw the Marshall from Iowa. She went to the floor a couple of times because they're strong.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina's strong. You got Floje. She quick. She's strong. So if she gets bumped as an official, we're not calling that bump, especially when again certain scenarios take place. If she gets a bump at the top of the key and that's nothing to her, and she's going to the lane, we letting that bump go because when you call a foul, you actually help the defense when you call that foul because now they have to reset.
Mm-hmm.
They get to reset. They get to reset their defense, and they stop you. Which is why I asked Jamon in the chat. Do you want the bucket or do you want the foul? So yes, if Carolina bumps Iowa and it knocks Iowa off a little bit more, then yeah, we got to call that. But let's rewind the tape of the game. 3 or 4 of those calls was just dumb fouls on jump shooters that Carolina got. Man, again, I was a fan today, and I was like, why are you hitting the jump shooters? Like that's just not, just wasn't right. So I thought it was probably I know it was the best officiated game I've ever watched, in my opinion.
Let's get I guess it's Don Staley's husband.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to figure out why would she marry you, but go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Why, no,
Mike,
no, no, damn it, Pay. Why wouldn't she? That's the next question.
just look at the mirror.
Oh,
I'm I'm sexier than you.
No,
okay.
no. Okay.
Here we go.
In the words of Patrick Swayze in Row House, opinions vary.
Not that one.
I know why she married you. You still got the waves. You still got waves. That's why she married you. You still got waves.
I keep
that
them.
was uncalled for.
It was.
Uncalled for.
Go ahead, Mike. What's your thoughts on the game?
I caught the second half of it because I had a tournament myself, man, and some of the stuff that Rachel say, like watching the game, it's hard to watch the game as a referee, as a fan, because you see stuff and it's just different stuff that you see. And I hear a lot of people, Facebook or people just talking, they trying to let Iowa win. That one no call. They trying to do. Who the hell is they? That's my first question. When people say they, who is they? Like, calls were made on both ends. If you have a problem with calls, start filing. So I just see the game differently, and just kind of sum it up, man. South Carolina was deeper. South Carolina was bigger. South Carolina was more under control. Iowa, Caitlin Clark came down and took a lot of erratic shots. But the thing about those erratic shots that she took, she been doing that her whole career pretty much. So I mean, 38-0 is just really impressive. And Don Staley, which was already up there as one of the top female coaches, you got to start putting her one of the top female coaches all time. But as far as the game of college basketball, regardless of the gender, men, women, whatever, Don Staley might be the best coach in college basketball. Forget what gender she is. Forget what gender she coached. She might be the best coach in college basketball. The fact that Don Staley lost 5 starters and you got better and won a national championship, that's a salute to her, man. And those 5 starters, I think all of them in the league, the WNBA.
All got drafted.
So the fact that you replaced that and you went undefeated and won a national championship, I salute to you. Now, I will say this and not kind of minimize South Carolina and Don Staley, but women's college basketball is what I call top heavy, meaning you're never going to get a national championship game where you got like we had about 10, 12 years ago where you had a Butler playing a Duke or it's just not that kind of parity in women's college basketball. College basketball, women's college basketball is top heavy. When you look at the tournament and look how it goes, you rarely see a double digit seed get to the Sweet 16. Hell, for that matter, you rarely see a double digit seed win a game. So it's about each year in women's college basketball, it's going to be maybe 12 to 16 teams, and it might not even be that many that can cut down the nets. So that's the only thing that's different when it comes to men game. It's more parity versus the women's college game. But salute Dawn Staley, and I know people don't want to hear it. Man, Caitlin Clark, you didn't win the national championship, but you had one of the best careers in women's college basketball history. Not only that, I feel like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and I heard Ratio say this the other day, man, and it's one of the best things I've ever heard anybody say. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were the Magic and Bird to women's college basketball. We're going to follow them into the WNBA, but not only that, we're going to follow women's college basketball more now, and a lot of it has to do with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. So, Caitlin Clark, I salute you for putting that on your shoulders.
Before you jump back
Well,
in,
you went long there, didn't you? You had a lot to say.
Go ahead.
No, I was just, he went long. Like you should probably get a drink of water, go to a commercial or something.
I got one.
Okay.
I got one.
Let me just allow it to the one black player on our. I think there were two, but one really, Hannah Stokey. She had a great Final Four, and with Caitlin, like I don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark because she didn't win. We talked enough about her all year, but Hannah Stokey, when she there were several times when she got caught flashing down the lane when they were pushing the ball after her mate, and she's flashing down the lane, getting shots up at the bucket in the paint, and she had like 23 points last game against UConn, and last year she played in the national championship game. I think she averaged 4.5 points a game last year. She has actually improved this year. So when you look at this, could be her team next year. I doubt it because she's at Iowa, but for her, she has the experience. She's going to be going in as a junior. But I want to ask y'all guys this: we know the blue bloods in the men's game. We know UConn is a new blue blood. Duke, Kentucky, you can say UCLA, Kansas,
North Carolina.
I mean, you could put
That's it.
Because Florida was a flash, and then that was it. They only made one Final Four since they won back-to-back titles. That was in 2014 when they lost to, I believe, UConn that year in the Final Four. What are the blue bloods? We know UConn and Tennessee are the flat-out blue bloods in women's college basketball. Can we definitively say that we could say South Carolina is now a new blood now, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, South Carolina definitely.
Now, with that being said, what other blue bloods are there in women's college basketball right now?
You got Stanford, you got Ohio State, you could say Texas.
Hasn't won. Ohio State have the women's championship ever. Stanford hasn't won one since the 90s, the early 90s.
I mean, didn't Stanford win one?
Pulling it up now.
Maybe they didn't. Or maybe Terry Vanderbilt, whatever, she won 1,000 games or something.
She won over 1,000 games. She's at 13 or something like that. I'm pull up the history now, but let me call it basketball. Let me take that. Let me change the search parameter. But what other programs can be considered a blue blood or a new blood right now?
Shit, that's it.
Which goes back to what you said earlier. Is very top heavy. If you look at what UConn has done, if you go back to 1995 when they beat Pat Summitt in the final, go back 30 years, they had 11 championships. You might have Baylor sprinkling there twice. You have Tennessee on with five, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, why this stuff not pulling up? I'm trying to get championship history to the NCAA. I'm trying to pull them up. I'm gonna share my screen just a second once I get everything pulled up. Share screen. That's too many tabs on. Oh well. I'm gonna read them all to you. I'm gonna go backwards from to this year to going back. South Carolina, LSU, South Carolina, Stanford. They just they won it in 2021.
That's what I thought.
Baylor, Notre Dame, UConn. Baylor went 40-0. Texas A&M, Gary Blair was the coach. Tennessee, Maryland, Baylor, Notre Dame, Connecticut, Purdue, Tennessee, UConn. And then before that, North Carolina. Then before that, Texas Tech with Cheryl Swoop. And then Stanford again in '92. So, so after reading those teams on, would you like Baylor? They have two championships on here. One, two, three. They have three championships on there with Kim Mulkey, but she's not there anymore. Would you still consider Baylor as a blue blood?
Yeah.
I would say no because, like Atwater said, it's still top heavy. Even when you look at the teams that won in between at UConn, Tennessee, you got Baylor with a multi generational talented player in Brittany Griner. They had never seen the likes of her. We still haven't. Well, no, Cordova is the Brittany Griner before Brittany Griner. And
Just
before
look
that,
better.
you said Carolina won. Would
Yeah,
that
back in
would that have been with Tracy Reed?
please, 94.
Yeah, that might have been with Tracy Reed. So no. Tracy Reed wasn't in Carolina. I think she went to LSU. So no, she never won one. So you just got. I mean, think about it. I think arguably top five women's basketball players all come from UConn. Not all, but two or three of the top five women's basketball players in everybody's opinion, GOAT conversation, are people from UConn. You got Tarazi, Brianna, Maya, Sue. Like, I don't know, is Sue from UConn? Sue's from UConn,
Seabird.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
then you got Rebecca Lobo. Like, when you talk about arguably the greatest players, women's players, two or three of them, if you go top 10, three, four of them definitely come from UConn. Maya, Diana, Brianna, and Maya,
Sue.
Brianna, and Sue.
Shit, you got Sue, you got Rebecca.
Yeah, well, I just called those. And then if maybe at 10, 11, you go Rebecca Lobo. But if you honestly wanted to go a top 10 women's basketball players of all time, then you got to go Cheryl Swoops in no particular order. Cheryl Miller, Cheryl Swoops, um, Cynthia Cooper. Then after that, you probably go UConn.
Holesclaw.
Who?
Shamika Holesclaw won three in a row at
Oh my
Tennessee.
God, yeah. Shamika Holslaw, Lisa Leslie,
Tamika Catchings.
Tamika Catchings, Sue Bird, Diana, Maya. They in there. They in that conversation.
Look at all these teams right here won the championship. It's just one of the worst teams was Pat Summitt's team in '97. They lost 10 games. They went 29-10, won a chip. Within the last 40 years, that's the one team that had more than six losses that won a championship. Was one before that was where that something with five. Texas A&M 2011, 33-5 when Gary Blair as the coach beat Notre Dame. Now this is one of the questions Shot brought up in the pre-production. What's next for women's college basketball, Mike? After the season's over with. South Carolina is a preemptive number one right now because they're bringing back 4 to 5 starters. They're bringing in the number 2 recruit. UConn should be healthy. Iowa should be back to where they were before Caitlin Clark became Caitlin Clark. Where's college basketball going right now? Where are they headed to in the future? Excuse me, not right now. Where are they going right now?
You said women college basketball.
Women's college basketball. What's the future right now going for the next 3-4 years?
They got to continue to get stars. The difference between the women's game and the men's game, like for an example, UConn and Purdue tomorrow. A lot of people, if you hadn't followed college basketball, they have been the best two teams all season. And in a sense, South Carolina and Iowa have been like that on the women's side. But people are going to watch that game simply because it's men's college basketball and they've been the best two teams all year. Women's game needs stars. That game, nobody would have watched that game today if you didn't have Caitlin Clark or you wouldn't have had the girls from South Carolina possibly. But they've got to develop stars. They got to continue to put Juju on that pedestal. Develop stars. The more stars, the more people going to watch the game. That's what they need to do. That's what they need to develop.
First of all, shout out to everybody that's on here. I see my producer on there. I'll be late looking at the comments. I got to get better. Championship coach Jamal, we was just talking about our conversation, man. So if you want to chime in and ask some questions, go ahead. And Deshaun said, Atwater said Cordova just looked better. Yeah, that's a great analysis. She does. And that's one of the reasons why I put that on here. Because Faye said, what's next for women's college basketball? And I think that this particular game, along with last year, has catapulted women's college basketball for a number of reasons. One, because they got the big stage, and Iowa was in the mix, and of course that brought a different type of audience, right? And people could say what they want, y'all know how I feel about my people, y'all know how I feel about racism, but black, white, blue, brown, green, whatever you want to call it, Caitlin Clark is the real deal. She is the real deal, and there's nothing that you're not a basketball fan if you didn't watch her and be like, dang. Like, if you rooting for her, she delivered, and if you was rooting against her, there was nothing you could do about it. So what's next for me, as far as women's basketball, my producer said it best. They got Juju on that beat. Like, she next. She's Carmelo, and that the game has arrived when you start making comparisons. She's Carmelo Anthony. She's Kevin Durant. What she did and how she put the game on her shoulders, they need Juju on the West Coast to be great. They need her to lead the league in scoring in order for people to keep taking notice of basketball. Then you got Paige Buckets over here on the East Coast. Women's basketball need them two in the Final Four squaring off. East Coast, West Coast, all type of analogies. Southern California, Northeast. You need that. Black, white. You need that. And then let's not overlook the elephant in the room. Come on, don't say that. I know Paige ain't going pro. I think they said she's staying, so don't do that to me.
She's staying.
She stands. Come on, Anatoly. Now, we're not gonna start it off like this, man. Paige is staying. Paige is the one that made the ESPY announcement about supporting Black women and Black Lives Matter at the ESPY when she won the award as a freshman. So shout out to Paige Buckets. That's my favorite player. Because
she got some pretty eyes too. Real pretty eyes.
No. I'm glad you said that. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. I love Fort Valley State. I love supporting the women's basketball team while we were there. Shout out to all the gorgeous ladies that played basketball at Fort Valley State while we were there. We enjoyed watching you. It was a pleasure. Your talent was undeniable. We salute you. But we ain't never see y'all in no bikini. We just ain't never seen it. We ain't never seen it. Like, we just ain't. They just the advertising is just better. I'm just saying.
Solo shot. Just solo shot like
that. It is what it is. Like, don't act like y'all ain't see Cordova in the yellow bikini or the green one. Yeah, I was on the page. I'm just saying, I was just, doing my research. for the athletes for this coming game, so I can be ready for the podcast. But come on now, come on now, y'all see him? It's the real. See Green. Don't act like I ain't tell no lie. I'm just saying what y'all thinking. Don't act like I ain't tell no lie. See Green. That's all. Look at Deshaun. He said, had we seen him in Daytona, it would be a different story. Facts, all facts. So I think the game is in good hands. Jamon said, "Remember the pool party." I don't remember them in no bathers, in no bikinis. You know, you gotta think now. You know, Gucci never one making bikinis like they making them these days. That's all I'm saying. Y'all know I ain't lying. So I think the women's game is in good hands.
I think with all the college alignment, because USC is now going to be in the Big Ten. I think Stanford's going to the ACC next year. I think for basketball, I think with Juju going with that going to the Big Ten, that's going to get more exposure because the Big Ten is a good conference for men and women's college basketball. But it's NIL is crazy. It's still going to be top heavy, but I think coaching really matters, and I think we'll go back to Tiani Pow Pow, like you said earlier before Mike came on. She was watching the game from the house. She said, "I need to be on that team because they need my shooter." Anyone because of money. She wanted to do it because she wanted to win and help a team. Now, one thing I would like to see if Cameron Brink from Stanford pulls out of the draft and enters the portal and go to South Carolina. That will be something right there. But college realignment is going to make women's college basketball bigger because of getting more exposure, especially the West Coast teams. And Juju's that's my pick right now for National Player of the Year. Juju right now. She's going to be
and
Paige. I think the way Juju get buckets like that, I think Paige struggled a little bit in the Elite Eight and the Final Four game. But I think if Paige stays healthy, like I told y'all the other day, Paige Beckers is what Caitlin Clark is right now if she wouldn't have got hurt the last 2 years.
So let me just add to that, if I may.
Go ahead.
If Juju, and don't forget Fawali, and don't forget Tessa Johnson, like if they can hold it down for another year, just one more year or two, you got like you see Fawali like that. That's a freaking athlete. She's an athlete. They got some young ladies in the 10th grade, in the 9th and 10th grade that watched this game today and watch this whole tournament, and they back in the gym. Women's college basketball has been reborn, and all they need is Juju and a couple of more, you know, and they might already be out there because I don't really follow the recruiting for the high school girls. But if they got some more guards and 6'2" people like Juju and Fawali, the game will be in good hands. But, you know, the product is going to get better because you're going to have more girl dads, you know, pushing the fact that my child can play basketball and be a lady for those that, you know, that may have been an issue for them. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get that. And then once that happens, you'll start getting girls wanting to stay home. You'll start getting coaches. And I'm actually piggybacking off the comment that championship coach Jamon just said, you know, yeah, it is top heavy. Atwater said that it's top heavy. But the more athletes you get playing the game, then it won't be as top heavy. Like if I'm a top player right now, if my daughter is big time, you know, we in Miami, girl, it's South Carolina or bust. It's South Carolina or just go to college and get your books. Like South Carolina is the standard. Who don't want to play for Don Staley? But the more young ladies that come into this game with talent, with better training, it's going to start spreading out. It will. I mean, just look at the class. That class 4 years ago, Paige was 1, Angel Reese was 2, Caitlin Clark was 5, Cordova. I think Cordova was up there too. Like it's the real deal. It's gonna be enough to spread, and they all went to different schools.
And piggyback on Cordova, she came to the United States at 15 and could not speak English. went to college in Tennessee, and one of I think um,
Went to
Raven
Syracuse.
Johnson. Raven Johnson became one of her best friends that played AAU together for the last 8 years. That's what you see that chemistry in the court. So just shout out to Cordova, just shooting her shot to play basketball.
Well, she didn't have a choice. She was 6'7".
Yeah, she
What
did.
else
Yeah,
was she
no,
gonna do?
so,
Change light bulbs?
yeah. I'm pulling up the recruiting for 2024 women basketball. Let's see, 247. Let me go to ESPN. That's fine.
Hey, I gotta give my brother some love on this one. Kitty Moon say coaching great players is not that hard. And I got to give him some props on that. You know, as much as I love Goat Staley, that's her new name for me. They could lose the Dawn. As much as I love Goat Staley, you know, it looked good when the number one player in the country is coming off the bench, and you decide to go to her. It looked good. And then you got Tessa Johnson. I'm curious to know what she ranked last year as far as recruiting classes. Like, you know, and nothing against Goat Staley, but watching that game today, I did see why, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking nothing away from Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, all these great coaches. But when the deck is stacked, like Jamon said, it's UConn, USC, South Carolina, Stanford, Tennessee. Nobody else matters. Throw in a Notre Dame, here, there. Like, honestly, who else matters? Really, Duke. I would give Duke some props because Kara Lawson over there. I think she's bringing that program up. That's it.
Yeah, all her started were freshmen and sophomores this year. Um, Tessa Johnson was 27.
She was 27,
27.
so that she was a 5-star.
She was 5 star.
Okay.
Top recruiting class, I'm gonna give you the top five. USC, Kennedy Smith, guard forward, is the top prospect. South Carolina got Joyce Edwards. She's 6'2". UCLA number three, Texas four. That's another team right there to look out for. Texas. They got Justice Carlton. I think she's a 6'2", 6'3". And Duke has the fifth recruiting player with Toby Fortier. Um, she's number 9 ranked recruit, and then UConn was 6. That's Ali Zebo. One thing about UConn, this show, before we go on to the men's game, UConn had five star players out for the year this year. This is one of their most depleted teams that made the Final Four because Paige Buckets was playing about 40 minutes in the Sweet 16 Elite Eight and the Final Four game. So they had a full complement of players like Az Fudd and all them. I think this might be a different story this year for them for the championship, but next year is going to be so awesome because all of them coming back with Paige Buckers. Calipari wouldn't agree with us right now. Man, Calipari need to get fired and sit somewhere. I'm still pissed at Calipari. Stupid. MFer. That recruiting freshman ain't don't always work, dog, especially with transfer portal. All right.
What happened?
I don't know where Don Stanley Hubbard went. He might have went to celebrate with her or something.
True.
He probably went to Wingstop to celebrate. Um,
Those are, oh shoot, I got 2051. Those are my way too early rankings for 2025.
yeah, they ESPN dropped their too early 20.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did right after the game. South Carolina number 1, Texas number 2, Notre Dame 3, Hannah Hidalgo, she's a beast as a freshman. UConn Huskies and the Trojans at 5. That's your top 5.
So who they had one?
South Carolina,
2,
Texas.
Texas. Okay.
There's 1 seed. They got knocked out in the Sweet 16.
Okay, who's 3?
Notre Dame, they got knocked out in the Sweet 16.
So okay, I got USC. I got UConn, USC West, Duke, and LSU.
Javon said USC has to be 2. I can see that.
He says UConn has to be 2.
You 2, yeah, I can see that because they bring everybody back. They're healthy and
Right,
Paige.
I got them too. I got UConn too. And now I see why Paige is coming back. She like, nah, I got unfinished business. I made it to the final four with no disrespect to the teammates, with all of the baddies at home. All of the baddies was in street clothes.
Yeah.
They was TikToking the sideline to death, the bench to death. She getting them people to come back, see
Mhm.
me. Yeah, I can see that.
I was not even in the top 25.
They wouldn't be.
They won't be. They won't be for a while.
But let's go back real quick to USC,
Go ahead.
USC East. So I don't know if y'all know, but I did the JUCO national championship game for the last 2 years, and there was a young lady called Shakira Walker, some Mikey Walker, who played at Louisville, played in the league. His daughter, she's
Uh-huh.
about 6'4", 6'5". She was on the bench at South Carolina. That was the other tall black girl that not the one that she's the one that didn't play. So she's probably a junior next year. She's 6'5". So I was gonna ask you when you was looking at the rankings, who's the tallest player? Where's the tallest player going?
That's
Because I fully believe that Samiki Shakira Walker, I believe her name is Shakira Walker, is gonna go in there and fill in for Cordova. She waited her turn. She learned from Cordova the same way Cordova learned from Aaliyah Boston, and she's gonna be a force in the middle at 6'5".
We'll go to another women's recruiting CTV 247 Sports. Should have had it pulled up. I should have went here. There we go. Du-du-du-du-du-du.
Jamon, you got the Walker girl transferring from South Carolina?
Jamal, just jump on. You got the link.
Who?
I told Jamal, jump on. He got the link.
Oh wow. Yeah, who's the 6'5"? I'm curious who's the 6'5" early enroller he's talking about. But if that girl Shakira Walker come in or whoever the 6'5" young lady he's talking about, along with Tessa Johnson for Wiley, is Bree's not a senior?
I think she's a junior or sophomore.
Oh my goodness! Stop it, USC! Stop it, Goat Staley! Stop it! Stop it!
I don't know what happened to my camera. Let's see.
Man, look at here. If me and Jamon not talking about the same person and they got two of them, then South Carolina might be 101 in the next 2 years, 3 years. For the next, on the last 3 years, they reckon might be 101. Because he's talking about a tall that was in all white on the bench. She had on all white. Now I don't know if he's talking about the dark skinned young lady or if he's talking about Walker that was in uniform. But if we're not talking about the same person, that's a problem. You got for Wiley, you got Tessa Johnson, Bree Hall is a junior. She's coming back. You plug in one of those 6'5" young ladies. She's gonna get one of the top transfers, whoever she wants. That's a problem.
That's gonna be
Okay, so we talking about two different people. That's a problem.
that's gonna be a big.
That's a problem.
There we go. Hold on, bro. I'm trying to 247 is not an easy thing to. Let's turn it. I can't find it. Right now, I'm looking at what's the website? Um,
Let's go. Let's rock and roll, Faye.
all right, men's final tomorrow. Purdue and Connecticut. What's the key to that game? Shot.
Turnovers. Rebounding. They gotta make sure they gotta keep UConn off the boards. Like we might watch the same game for men and women. You know, UConn's length, second chance points. Purdue is gonna have to shoot the ball lights out. UConn is just too long. If they allow them to get second chance points, this might get in the 30s or the 40s.
Mm-hmm. I want to piggyback what you was asked about. What Jamon said. Adhel Top, 6'5". She early enrolled in January for South
Okay,
Carolina.
who is she though?
I don't know. She um, from Texas. 6'5" center.
Okay, and then Walker's there as well at 6'5". So you'll have one, but if both of them stay, who was the young lady that was that's also 6'4" that was backing up Cordova?
Chloe Kitt. Or you talking about not Chloe Kitt. I know you talking about dark skin girl.
Once she interviewed at halftime.
Watkins. You talking about Watkins.
No, the one that was Watkins is number 2. The young lady that they interviewed at halftime. Can't think of her name.
Can't think of her name either. But I think back to the men's game. If Klingon can kind of control Zach Edey, Zach Edey gonna probably get 20 and 12. We'll just pencil that in. He's gonna get 20 and 12 every game. Any CAA game he played in the last 2 years, he's got 20 and 12 every game at minimum. If you go home to 20 and 12, they'll win because Purdue's guards are not good. Purdue's guards are turnover prone. UConn brings that pressure. They'll once they find a way to break their team, they'll break them like they did to Illinois, the way they did Alabama, because Alabama played a hell of a game last night. It's just they didn't make enough threes. They didn't make enough threes last night. And that's the only way they play threes and twos. We don't get a 3 layup. No mid-range shots. But if they can hold Zach Edey to 20 and 12, and that sounds crazy. If you can hold him to 20 and 12, Moxon won him maybe, but he's going to get his. Just don't allow the guards to shoot. But you turn, like you said, turnover and rebounds. If you hold Zach Edey to 20, hold him by 50 points, you can't win by 10 minimum.
I
So
agree. I agree. So I agree.
Mike has some breaking news. Calipari is reportedly going to Arkansas.
Yeah, I that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Strip clubs are flourishing over there in Arkansas.
No comment.
Whoa, I know they ain't went deep into the crates and got my boy Jamal Hall in the building. What's up, twin?
Get him up. Get him up. Get him up. Get him up.
Yeah, championship coach, man. I just saw it. Sanaya Fagan. That's the young lady we talking about. She's 6'4", 6'5". No. Sanaya Fagan is the one that's 6'3". She a junior. Then the one you talking about, Jamon, is Adele Tack. She's 6'5". Like, we probably should have mentioned this, man. That's how bad. All them people come back except Cordova.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, they need to put in. Nah, they can't let that happen. They can't let that. And I'm a Goat Staley fan. They can't let that happen. They can't do that. They can't do that. So what she brought in? She got 2 scholarship players this year coming in.
They were recruit. That's they had 3. When I saw 3.
Oh, my fault. Pow. She leaving too. So that's 2.
But yeah, that 6'5" person, that 6'5" girl, top, already enrolled, sitting on the bench chilling.
Yeah. Jamon said, yeah, you're right, Jamon. Somebody leaving. Somebody leaving. And they might not be leaving. She might be asking them to leave. They might be getting Pow not coming back.
I was surprised Watkins or Kit don't come back. That's what I'm thinking. Watkins or Kit might not come back.
Who's the commissioner for women's basketball? If Pow come back, it's not fair.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
It's not fair. I'm a fan and it's not fair. I'm telling you right now. I'm protesting. Tell me that right now.
So I was thinking, say we both taking on UConn for the win, right?
UConn for the win?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yeah. I got UConn. Yeah, I truly think they'll win by 15.
Yeah, especially like I said, Edey gonna get you 20 and 12. You can go ahead and put that in Sharpie. You can put that in Sharpie unless Klingon has an unbelievable game. You Purdue shooters are inconsistent. They don't have handles. The same problem they had last year when they lost in the first round. You come by you. I'm gonna say right now, you come by 20. You come by 20. You Purdue don't have enough black players on the team for one thing. Same problem that Iowa ran into this year. So that same thing. That's the same issue they had with LSU last year. Last topic: LeBron James Jr. has decided to into the draft, but also keeping his eligibility by also entering the transfer portal. This comes on the heels of Randy Enfield taking a job at SMU, which will be in the ACC next year, and Eric Musselman has taken a job at USC from Arkansas. As you know, Brian had a massive cardiac arrest during the summer, which limited his availability for the first part of the year. He came off the bench the whole most of the season, only had 4 starts. I believe his average was 4.5 points per game, 3 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Uh, Shot. It is. I mean, he's leaving stuff open to come back. But then he, I mean, thoughts.
Man, it, this first of all, shout out to my boy Steve Pope, Fort Valley State, came in '92 with me, Ohio legend. He the one brought this up. He wanted us to discuss this, and I said okay. But I really didn't want to discuss this. I told him that in the chat. Um, this is a mockery. You know, LeBron and my has always acted like he wasn't the one pulling the strings in a lot of different places after he left Miami. Right? He would send cryptic tweets, things of that nature. When he got to the Lakers, he was trying to act like he wasn't the GM, and I really don't know if he was or he wasn't. Um, but can somebody tell me why is a person, an athlete that averaged 4 points, 4 points on a team that had a losing record? Why is this even a conversation? Bronny James entered the draft. At that point, everybody at the same time should have said, so what is Jamal saying now?
Scholarship chart for South Carolina.
Yeah, Jamal, I don't want to see this. I'm a Carolina fan, and this ain't fair. This ain't fair. Trust me, it's gonna be a whole lot of anonymous letters being sent to South Carolina, and I'm a fan. It ain't fair.
It ain't.
It ain't fair. Them UConn days where you win 4 straight, we don't want to see that no more. You know, unless you're from South Carolina, it ain't fair. But back to Bronny, this is this is sad. Like, we talking about a dude that's averaging 4 points. Honestly, let's talk about what happens when he get drafted in the first round.
Mm.
Let's talk about that piece. Who he gets drafted in front of. God forbid he gets drafted in the lottery. You know, but I can honestly see LeBron going in the lottery, because that 11th and 12th team that's on the brink of the playoffs, you get Bronny, you get LeBron, you go from not from the play-in to conference finals. Your merchandise gonna sell, your tickets gonna sell, everything gonna sell if you get LeBron James and his kid. That's what I'm gonna call him from now on. LeBron kid into the draft, not Bronny James Jr. LeBron kid into the draft. That's how we should address this. Because why? Why do we care?
If you're gonna transfer, Pepperdine makes sense. You'll probably start Duquesne, Dayton,
Albany State.
Albany State, Benedict, They're I would not go pro. Your medicals are not going to come back clean because you literally just had a cardiac arrest and you knew your freshman year is going to be trash. I think with infield leaving, I think he should at least stay for one more year. He go over want to go Ohio State. I don't see him playing on Ohio State because he's probably not going to get any burn because they got a new coach coming in this year. Duquesne, I can see Arkansas. Calipari becomes the coach because LeBron has a relationship with Calipari. Um, Duquesne, Dayton, DePaul, Pepperdine, San Diego State. Even I can see those schools right there. If you want to stay on the West Coast, something like that. San Jose State. I just don't see. I don't see the benefit of him going pro. You have the body, you have the physique, but you right now you just don't have the productivity. Right now,
he doesn't have the game.
no.
Like let's call this what it is. He does not have the game. All right, we have been holding off saying this because LeBron is such a stand-up guy. But LeBron, his son, is an above-average athlete who's had the best training, nutrition, and whatever that money can buy. And in his high school career, again, he's an above-average athlete. He's a legit 6'2", 6'3". He got Savannah genes. But you had legit high school guys that was cooking him. That boy that went to Duke last year, he cooked him every time.
Wait,
And
Jimmy
he
Roach,
still got,
Roach or McLean?
the kid from California,
I think McLean.
the light-skinned kid from California,
I think it's McLean. I think.
cooked him. Every time, cooked him with olive oil. Then his son got selected for the McDonald's game over this kid. They played in the playoffs. No, they played in the regular season. He dropped 28 on his kid. I think his kid only had maybe 8 or 9, maybe 14. And then they played him again in the playoffs. Ousted him out of the playoff. I think Shorty went off for 30. LeBron's son might have had a little bit less than 20. So it's always been this way. We just overlooked it because at the end of the day, he's a good athlete. He could probably go play at college. But he wasn't supposed to go to USC. He was not supposed to go to USC. So this now is a mockery. That's what this is. This is a mockery.
Yeah, you should know what the USC. If anywhere, Ohio State would have made more sense. You want to stay big time D1 in a Power Five school. I think he should have went somewhere like a smaller school where he would have got more focus, like Pepperdine, San Jose State, San Diego State, somewhere like that. He would have got more. Even hell, Duquesne, an Ivy League school. You could have went to an Ivy League school and got some burn.
Well, he couldn't have gone to Duquesne because Trey Clark over there at Duquesne, that's Tony Miller's son, Fort Valley State volleyball player, class of 1996. Tony Miller's son over there at Duquesne. That's why I picked him in the tournament. He couldn't have went over there and started over Trey Clark. That ain't happening.
A month before Christmas.
Dayton would have made more sense. Dayton or Akron. That's right from where you're from. Dayton or Akron would have made more sense.
Mm-hmm. Or
like
the producer said, he should have gone to FAM, been over there with Ken Griffey's son, and then we could have made FAM the black Mega Hollywood kid, offspring, bought them some more money because they already a LeBron James school, and then he could have went off for 30. Dale sent his son to a small school.
Yep, Davidson.
So he should have gone there, but next topic, ad lib. What GM is drafting him and making a mockery of their title?
None of them should.
Who you got, Atwater? What GM is going to draft LeBron James' son? I'm not even calling him Bronny James no more because this is a mockery right now. We only talking about this because Pope wanted to talk about it. So, Pope, you better be on because this is a mockery.
LeBron James' son is going to be a better pro than he is a better college player. I think people are looking at the fact that this man only averaged 5 points a game and is thinking about putting himself in the draft. He is going into the transfer portal too, y'all. He's going into the portal, number one, because his coach leave. His coach went to the SMU. But he going to the portal and he's trying to see what his stock is like. So There's no guarantee that he's going to go. But if he does go, Bronny is going to be a guy that's going to get a two-way contract. Bronny is going to be a guy that in 3-4 years is going to be a rotational guy in the league. I didn't say anything about a star, but his game is more suited. The run and shoot, run up and down the floor, the open floor is more suited for the NBA than it is college game. He's going to flourish more in the NBA than he is in college. So don't look at the stats. Don't look at the limited playing time, because there's been several guys that went on to play pro ball. I want to say,
Who?
I think Devin Booker barely averaged 10 points a game and was top 10 pick. And I'm not trying to say Bronny James was
No, that's not true with Devin Booker. He was a knockdown shooter at Kentucky.
Off the bench, though. He came off the bench.
He came off the bench. I said average, like 9-10 points a game at Kentucky.
Who was starting?
Devin Booker was playing on that Kentucky team that went undefeated and got beat by Wisconsin. So they had the Harrison twins.
Yeah.
They had the Harrison twins and Karl Anthony Towns and I want to say Willie Cauley-Stein. Maybe that's a little older, but he averaged like 9-10 points a game at Kentucky.
Hold on. Let's put this in context. Devin Booker, light-skinned sniper, was coming off the bench, still averaged 10 points on a team that went undefeated and won the national title.
They didn't win the national title.
They didn't make it to the championship game that year.
They got beat by Wisconsin in the Final Four.
Absolutely right. They made it to the Final Four.
10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
Right. Junior is coming off the bench on a team that had a losing record. They was the Final Four of their conference. Like the last four when I say Final Four.
I think they did go to they didn't go to a semifinal.
They didn't go to
They got put out in the conference quarterfinal by Arizona. I watched that game last night.
This not even close. The comparison. Why are we saying he's going to be a better pro than he ain't got no choice? He averaged but 4 points. That's 4 free throws. That's get in the game late, get fouled, and make your free throws. You can get 4 points.
But once again, we are just looking at the fact all we concerned with is the averages. Right? That's all people are looking at. He averaged like 5.6 points a game this season.
No. Stop it. Because every time we talk, you're going to raise his average up. By the time we get to next week's segment, he's going to be averaging damn near triple-double. The boy
I said 5. I said he averaged 5 points a game.
He averaged.
I think that's what he averaged.
And then you just said 5.6 points.
I think that's what his average was.
He's less than 5. It was 4.3 or something like that. Don't get up to 6.
What was it, Fade? I thought it was like 5.5, 5.6 a game.
No.
Maybe it was.
I wanted to go 5, but let's see.
It wasn't 5.
3 points a game. No.
Oh!
No, bad. That's way to play Arizona. I'm sorry. That's one game, 3 points.
That was 4.3.
4.8 points a game. 4.8 points.
4.8. 4.8.
So we rounded at 5. He right at 5 points a game.
Okay, so then don't go up to 6 then.
2 assists. Maybe 1 steal. That's it. Played 25 games, started 6 of them. Bottom line is, I don't think he should stay one more year. I mean,
all he doing is putting his name out there. He didn't say he was necessarily going. He's in the transfer portal. He's declaring with the chance to come back to college.
Atwater, we get that. What we want to know is, what other person in the history since James Naismith made this game, what other person do you know averaged 4.8 points that would even consider putting their name in the? Why is this not on Def Comedy Jam? Why is this on a regular?
Trust me, I guarantee it. I guarantee you, all the players that put their name in the NBA draft, I guarantee it's been somebody that's on average 4 or 5 points a game. Don't put their name in the draft. I don't know a name, but I can promise you it's 100 to 150 dudes every year that put their name in the draft. You think all 100, 150 averaging over 10 points a game? No. So I guarantee you, it's somebody that's going to put their name in the draft that's an average 4.5 points a game. But the one thing, too, that you got to say, Bronny James is only different from anybody else that would attempt to do it because that's LeBron's son.
Well, that's the point. That's the whole point. You said you guarantee that somebody's done it. The point is we don't know. Because anybody averaging 4.8 points a game that go to the draft, they don't make the ticker on ESPN, and we don't care. That's the difference. So Jamon came up with a great analogy. Great point. What does he bring to the table? I said a couple of weeks ago, at best, he could be a Patrick Beverly. At best. But people act like Patrick Beverly wasn't a bucket getter before he got to the game, to the league.
Bronny James, what he brings, he's athletic. He can create his own shot. He has a somewhat okay jumper. So he could come into the league and get a two-way contract. I didn't say nothing about being a rotation. I didn't say nothing about being a starter. Right now, if he were to go, he could be a two-way guy. Somebody would take a chance on him because, number one, the NBA GMs like him younger. So somebody would take a chance on him simply off a two-way contract. And if you want me to be perfectly honest, somebody may take a chance on him simply off of public relation in the second round. So he is going to get a look at least at a two-way.
Did you just say GMs like him younger?
They do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, Diddy.
I'm not saying it like that. But a lot of players that get drafted early, lottery picks, they're young guys. You rarely see seniors and juniors go in the top 5 type. And you got to be really special nowadays to be a junior. Like, for an example, everybody think Zach Edey is 2-time player of the year, 7'4" center. Zach Edey might not get drafted. 7'4" center, 2-time player of the year, might not get drafted. Like Luke Garza 2 years ago for our player of the year, didn't get drafted or went like late second round. Late second round. Where you at now then?
Pistons. He's still on the bench for the Pistons.
But that's our point, Atwater. You got a dude that's averaging 24 points, 7'4", and you saying he might not get drafted, but we actually having a conversation about a dude that averaged 4.8 points and 6'3". He should be at the YMCA. That's what he should be. Not the NBA, the YMCA.
So basically, we're not disputing
YMCA. That's what
we're not disputing the fact that Bronny James in the transfer portal. We're disputing the fact that you put your name in the draft. That's what the issue is, right?
The audacity to put your name in the draft after a freshman year where you average 4.8 points.
So if Bronny James averaged 9 or 10 points a game, would this conversation be different?
Well, yeah, because now you would have a comparison. Like you would have compared him to Devin Booker. That would make everybody say, okay, well, damn, Devin Booker, he averaged the same amount of points. That's a reference what you did. When you on a team that went to the Final Four, this dude can't start on a bad team. And what was their record, Fade, when he did start? What was their record and what did he average when he did start?
The ones that are 2-4, but I need to see it. I need to go Basketball Reference. But if he gonna get drafted the league gonna swallow him up. I say swallowed up.
I mean, if Bronny James wow people at workouts, individual workouts, if he get invited to a pre-draft camp, it's possible. Now, I don't agree with him putting his name in the draft, but he still has the skill set to possibly get a two-way contract. I ain't said nothing about him being no starter or nothing. I said he's got a chance to get a two-way. And we got to look at this too. You know he ain't hurting for no money. This ain't about no money. He ain't even had to go to school to get no money. This ain't about no money. So him going to the league, getting a two-way, I mean,
there, I'm looking at the stats. The 350th ranked scorer in the NCAA this year averaged 14 points. The 350th person averaged 14.8 points. We got to go to another 1,000 people to get to junior. That's what I'm calling now.
So let me ask y'all this question then.
Points in the
That 4.8 points that Fade was talking about, if Bronny James averaged 4.8 points, let's say 5.2 rebound and 5.5 assists, would that get him a look?
He would be somebody else. He would be somebody else. Yeah, like Jamon said it right. That's the Greek freak. That's the Kane's son. We not calling him Bronny no more. Like, come on now. 5 points. You say 5 rebounds and what? 3 assists?
No,
5 assists. Let's say he averaged 5.55.
No, 5.3 rebounds and 2 assists was Bronny's average.
No. I said if he averaged 5.5 rebound, 5 assists, would that still do anything?
Not for me.
He work at Wendy's. 5 for 5.
Hey, so Faye, were you able to look up his record when they started?
1 in 5, average 6 points a game.
Oh, I'm done. So when they did put you in the lineup, y'all beat one team, probably Santa Clara,
Oregon State.
They beat Oregon State, and what did he have in that game?
9 points.
So you wasn't the reason in. Has he ever led the team in scoring?
He can't lead the team in scoring. He got two NBA dudes on his team, Isaiah Collier and Boogie Ellis.
Devin Booker led his team in scoring at least once during that year.
Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Collier. Isaiah Collier, his teammate, will probably be a top 5 pick. And Boogie Ellis played with USC too. So he wasn't better than either one of them. They were getting most of the shots. Boogie Ellis probably led the team in scoring.
I just need you to lead the team. I asked that he ever led the team in scoring in one game. That's all I asked. One game where you got hot and coach said we're gonna ride the freshman and you led the team in scoring. Didn't happen. Like C. Green said, those are recreational league, those rec league stats, man.
They'll get DJ Rodman on that roster also.
So then, if what should Bronny James do then, according to y'all?
Go to Pepperdine.
Go to class.
Okay.
Go to class, or all jokes aside, Anatoly said it best. Go to FAM. Go to HBC. Go to FAM because that's your dad's school. Ken Griffey's there. Like, go be you, bro. You're not an NBA guy. You're making a mockery of the sport right now. You know, this is fueling all of the Michael Jordan, LeBron haters. Because your kid ain't got no business declaring for the draft. None whatsoever.
Well, I'm gonna assume Bronny James is not gonna get in the draft, and he gonna transfer. He gonna transfer over this way somewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised it's Ohio State.
Brian, come on to Fort Valley. Come on down to Fort Valley.
Man, he ain't going nowhere near Fort Valley.
No,
he either going to Ohio State. He either going to Ohio State or he gonna go to SMU.
He needs to go to FAM. That's what
he's not gonna drop. He's not gonna drop that far. He's not. He's gonna go to another Power 5 school. He's not gonna drop.
Check this out. There's not even a benefit to recruiting Bronny James because that has no leverage to get Bryce. Who Bronny James go to has no leverage on getting Bryce. That's going to be a totally separate recruitment, and everybody know that. So I'm not even trying to get Bronny James to transfer to my school with the hopes of getting Bryce. There's no incentive. None.
We don't. College coaches not recruiting like that no more. College coaches recruit for 1 year. So they're not thinking about getting Bronny to get Bryce. They're recruiting for this year. They recruit their players They recruit the transfer portal, and they may get 2 or 3 high school seniors in there. But wherever Bronny James go, it's got nothing to do with Bryce at all. Nowhere near it. Because them days of recruiting big brother to get little brother is over. Now, I did see that at Georgia. Georgia got a guy there named Jay Newell, and his baby brother, Asa Newell, 5-star from Mount Vernon Academy, is going there. But other than that, there's no.
Well, you just said they don't do
Bronny not going to be there by the time Bryce there. I don't see it.
But you just said they don't do it, and then you just gave us an example.
College coaches not doing it like that. Not with no Bronny James.
Gave us an example.
They're not going to do that.
Oh, okay, so they're not going to do it no more.
Not going to do it, period.
Well, you just gave us an example of them doing it.
Okay. All right. If that's what you're trying to have a rebuttal, okay.
No, you said Georgia got some guy on their team, and his little brother, I guess he's coming next year.
Yeah.
Is a 5-star.
Yeah, Asa Newell.
Okay.
Asa Newell.
The older brother, what did he do this year?
Nothing.
So they do it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
But don't be surprised he go to SMU.
Man, don't be surprised if nobody don't care. Oh, and I totally say the older brother is a walk-on.
Yeah, Jay Newell.
Yeah, they do it. They do it, Atwater. Hey, you can come on. Hey, so you and your brother close? Yeah, Coach, we real close. Okay, you can walk home. They do it, Atwater. That boy older brother is a walk-on. Get out of here. What you got, Fade?
Oh, that's it. We're gonna we'll be back on Wednesday to recap the national championship game. UConn should win that one, but
hey, this was a real good entertaining show, man. I propose Wednesday somebody else brought something to my attention, man, and I want to see what everybody on the chat thinks. Who's a better score out of KD and Melo?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Who the best? What? Say what now?
Who's the best score out of KD or Melo?
Yeah, we have a face-off on that one. Who you want to challenge on that?
Yeah, that's gonna be good. We'll talk about it though. We'll talk about it. Y'all boys be good.
All right, fella.
All
That's
right.
our show for tonight. We'll see y'all Wednesday. We'll holler.